You didn't stop reaching out first because you stopped caring. You stopped because your nervous system learned something your mind tried to ignore. You begin to notice that you almost never reach out first anymore, even to people who once mattered deeply. You still reply when others contact you, but the impulse to initiate no longer arises on its own. It feels unnecessary or strangely heavy. There is no anger, no conflict, no dramatic reason behind it. The inner urge to check in, ask how someone is doing, or maintain connection simply fades. This can feel confusing, especially when you remember how open and available you used to be. At times, doubt appears. Have you become colder, more distant, or emotionally detached? From the outside, your silence may be interpreted as indifference. People might say you've changed, become harder to reach, or stopped trying. But rarely initiating contact is not always a sign of emotional withdrawal. More often, it's the result of awareness quietly replacing habit. You stopped acting from obligation and began responding from inner alignment. Your system learned to distinguish mutual connection from one-sided effort. Initiation started to feel like responsibility that was never shared equally. So your body simply stopped moving first, without decision, without explanation. It didn't happen suddenly or by plan. The shift formed gradually through repeated imbalance. You didn't lose interest in people. You lost interest in carrying connection alone. This behavior is not random. It's how the nervous system learns to protect energy and emotional balance. Initiating turned into emotional labor. Reaching out first stopped feeling natural and began to feel like a burden. Most of the time, you were the one remembering, checking in, keeping the connection alive. Your effort was rarely noticed, valued, or returned in equal measure. You gave consistently and received little or delayed response. Over time, initiation felt less like care and more like maintenance. You noticed that silence only appeared when you stopped holding everything together. That silence exposed an imbalance you had long ignored or justified. Every message required managing emotion, timing, and expectation. Even calm, polite interactions became draining. You were no longer reaching out from curiosity or desire. You were reaching out to avoid distance, guilt, or misunderstanding. Once this pattern became clear, the system refused to continue it. You stopped initiating without explanation or confrontation. This was not punishment or manipulation. It was a refusal to continue unpaid emotional labor. Silence became a boundary, not a reaction. You didn't stop caring about people. You stopped carrying relationships alone. You saw who shows up without reminders. When you stopped reaching out first, patterns became impossible to ignore. Some people disappeared immediately, without curiosity, questions, or attempts to connect. Others reached out on their own, without prompts or signals. This contrast clearly revealed who truly valued connection and who had simply grown accustomed to your effort. Consistency became more meaningful than words. The confusion you had carried for years quietly dissolved. You no longer had to guess where you stood in someone's life. Behavior answered questions you stopped asking. Silence revealed truth faster than any conversation could. You weren't testing anyone intentionally. You simply stopped compensating for imbalance. Those who cared adjusted without explanation. Those who didn't faded without resistance. You didn't lose anyone randomly. You saw who was truly there. Initiation stopped feeling emotionally safe. At some point, starting contact stopped feeling neutral and began to feel risky. You never knew what you would receive in return: warmth, delay, or quiet indifference. Each message carried uncertainty. Over time, this trained your system to hesitate. It wasn't fear, it was recognition. Your body remembered outcomes before your mind could rationalize them away. So hesitation appeared naturally. You didn't become distant, you became honest. Silence reflects clarity, not indifference. Not from obligation, not from weight, but from mutuality. If this video gave you insight, like it so more people can find it. And subscribe if you want to keep exploring these topics together.